Hi, I'm Deirdre McGlashan, Chief Media Officer at Stagwell.
And I'm Toby Southgate. I'm the Global CEO of Forsman and Bodenfors, a Stagwell Group creative agency. We are here today to talk about the holidays, capital H holidays, and marketing, capital M marketing. Specifically, we're talking about the general theme of old and new, how they clash sometimes, and why we have a view, a pretty strong view actually, that what's old is new and what's new is old, and we're living through cyclical transformation as we are in the rest of our working lives, not only at the holiday season. So that's us. We'll get into it straight away, I think.
Absolutely. When we talk about what's old is new or what's new is old, the thing that always pops in my mind is QR codes. They were invented in 1994. Japan published the open source in 1999, so they've technically been around as long as the commercial internet. And they were readily adopted in Asia, but not readily adopted anywhere in the West until COVID. And now they're everywhere.
Until COVID, because we all needed to use them in this country and in lots of Western Europe at bars and restaurants when they started to open up again, and to make purchases when that started to happen again.
Exactly.
Okay. I think what I've seen and what I'm starting to notice in conversations with some of our clients on the content and creative side is that, particularly as it relates to shopping and purchase decisions, there was a shift originally, first wave of the internet, if you like, or the commercial internet as you described it. First wave was really using a tool, a new tool for research, and then going and executing a purchase, probably in a place that you felt comfortable and familiar. Yeah. That has shifted over a period where all the research can be done in real life and the purchase can be executed more easily online. Where do we go next? Do we go back to sort of a more traditional dynamic, or is it a blend?
I think it's a blend.
Yeah.
I think that's the next stage, is that it's no longer physical and digital. Actually, it's a blended experience. Mm-hmm. Whereas before I might have done my research online and got to the store to buy, or done my research in store and gone online to buy because it was cheaper, or I could get it faster,
you can find it.
or I didn't have to carry it around. Mm-hmm. Now people are experiencing it both ways. They want to do some research online, but they do want to go into stores. We miss stores. We missed going into retail. But due to limitations of people in stores, due to COVID cautions, you kind of want to get in and out a lot more quickly. Yeah. And you're less likely to want to touch everything on the shelf.
True. You also may want a little bit of human interaction in the process. Mm-hmm. And to your point about the sales associate, the retail face of a brand or a business, thinking about that physical book, the physical relationships, the digital relationships, and the merging of those, that also creates a degree of pressure on those people being really good and representing the brands that they carry and sell. It also breeds more trust with the purchase point, with the human buying something, and the relationship becomes real and natural again, because I think that is something that we've missed.
Exactly.
We want to go and talk to the retail assistant, find out, is it this product or that product, particularly if we're gifting, right?
Yep. Exactly. But you showed me something really interesting, and that was about transparency and trust. I want you to show everyone else. I want to see we got to see your car this morning.
It was, and I'm happy to show it, because this has never happened to me before. I'm in the middle of an experience with the guys who look after my car, like the dudes at the garage, and I, for the first time, am going to trust that when I go and pick it up after a service at the end of the day today, that everything that I'm paying for is fair and reasonable. And I'm trusting it because I have a technician, and the technician is walking me around my car. Right? He is a content creator. He's a technician in the dealership, and he's showing me my tire tread depth, my brake pad wear, my brake discs, and it is 3.5 minutes of under-car boredom on the one hand, but a real investment in trust and transparency on the other. I'm in. I'm going back. And I'm happy with the bill I'm going to pay. I don't know what it's going to be, but I know I'm going to have no issues with it.
When we think about what we're talking about, what does it mean to marketers? How do they do this?
Well, we just talked about 3 buckets, right? Content, the consumer, and the way of bridging the gap between those two things. So I think, and this is, of course, our world, if you like, it has to start with the content and the idea behind the content being relevant and useful. If it's not, no amount of holiday promotion, no fancy new technology, no specific new media channel will build the bridges effectively. You have to create something that consumers will want to engage with and find useful and find easy. And that's sort of the holy trinity, I think. And again, talking about what's new is old, that has always been the case, right? Pre-internet, pre-mobile phone, pre-smartphone, pre-television, like people got off on ideas and they bought things that they fell for somehow, or they understood somehow, that they engaged with. If it was relevant, they would find it utile. And if they find it utile, they're going to stay connected to it and stay engaged, purchase, move on.
And then I think the second thing then is the technology, the platform. It has to be seamless. It's got to have that ability to carry over from physical to virtual and virtual to physical.
Right, and I'm going to have more of those experiences through the holiday season. I'm going to be taking notice of which brands, which retailers make it easy for me and which make it hard. Exactly. And those things are going to influence my behaviors in future. I'm a consumer too, as are you. Okay, so here is perhaps the slightly dangerous final question. If we think everything is cyclical and old is new and new is old and all of those things, inevitably there has to be a question about what is net new? When is the new stuff coming? Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, I don't know, because I know that most people would say, well, we've got the Metaverse coming. But over a decade ago, we had Second Life. It's like, I don't honestly know what is going to be net new, because it feels like we've had everything before, possibly just in rougher form.
So what's new, what's net new, might be more about better versions of things that we've touched on before.
Exactly. But the thing is, we also know, I've been in digital a very, very, very long time. And there is some child somewhere in some garage or basement somewhere inventing something that will blow our minds. So,
well, that's the thing. I mean, marketers, brands, agencies, clients, media, everybody does need to be aware and remind ourselves every so often that, you know, we're working with things we know. Yeah. There's no predicting things that we don't know. Like the black swan thing, the child in a garage somewhere who has something that will blow our minds. Yeah. That is coming. Yep. But there's no sense trying to predict it, work around it, or understand how brands and marketers can get the best of it. Let's look at what we've got. Let's also look at the fundamental truths. Yep. Human behaviors, they don't change very much, and they do change slowly. Yeah. Most of it about what's easy for me, what's relevant for me, is it meaningful to me, do I understand it, can I use it with utility, does it make my life a little bit easier? Yeah. And that wrapped in messaging and ideas that engage me as a human being, those things will always have credibility and credence, right? Absolutely,
and I think we're just going to see more and more blending of physical and virtual, and I think that's where we're really headed, is blending these two worlds.
Until I get my Oculus Rift, I'm not going to be happy. Nice to talk to you as always.
Yeah. Wishing everybody a happy holiday season.
Absolutely. Happy holidays.